If you've been hanging around my channel at all, you'll know that I published last century, 1998. I chronicle my publishing journey in my nonfiction book called The Author's Odyssey, Humorous and Something Insights into Publishing. Anyway, what brings me back to that is I've been kind of watching discussions online about the upcoming changes, the turbulence that's hitting not just book authors like myself, but creatives all over because of AI. And someone made the comment, we creatives need to support each other. And I totally agree with that. But it's such an emotional follow-up on what it means to support someone. When I published my first book in 1998, it was an ebook only. And after initial interest, I got slammed for not supporting other creatives because I had published my book the wrong way. It was perceived as a threat. It's hard to imagine now that authors would consider an ebook a threat of any kind, but I was literally driven out of a national organization because I said that digital publishing would free authors from what I consider the heavy boot of traditional publishing. Before that time, your only options were to spend a lot of money to self-publish yourself and then try to get a bookstore to take your book or people or whatever. Otherwise, you had to wait and wait and wait to try to get an agent, to try to get a publisher to read your stuff, an editor. I would go to conferences and have little chats with editors and and agents, and it was just really painful. I can't tell you. And such a slow process because you would send a pitch letter and 3 chapters and you had to print them out and mail them in an envelope and send them to them. So the whole idea of digital publishing, I just found entrancing, quite frankly. This idea that you could digitally submit a manuscript to someone and that you didn't have to do the whole, because when you mailed some, you had to, if you wanted it back, you had to enclose postage to get it back. And quite frankly, if you wanted an answer back, you had to, it was called SASE, self-addressed stamped envelope. And you had to have that if you even wanted them to tell you no. I once got a submission back with a sticky note on it. And the irony of that is that when you were submitting to them, you had to be perfect in every way. No misspelled words, nothing. And they didn't have any rules at all because the balance of power was all with them. And digital publishing and the opportunity to self-publish shifted that power to the author. It gave us choices. We could choose to go through that meat grinder, or we could choose to reach out to readers directly. So when someone uses the same arguments that they used back then against the emerging technology that's happening now, I will say the dreaded words, AI, I get the hairs on the back of my neck stand up because it reminds me so much. The arguments are the same. We're killing the industry. We're killing people's money. Well, authors have been under considerable stress too in the last few years. Because of self-publishing, the competition for readers has increased to a fever pitch. And there was a period there where you actually could reach readers and do pretty well financially. I mean, I know self-published authors that are doing extremely well self-publishing. And I personally would never work with a publisher again, but I respect the right of authors, to make the choice that they want to do things. So what does that have to do with AI? Well, particularly, I mean, setting aside the whole I don't have AI write my books because that's the fun part. That's the part I want to do. But I have definitely used AI to do some of the grunt tasks that I don't like because it's so much faster than I am. It can write a Facebook post in a half a second that will take me an hour or more to write because I'm trying to get it just right. So yes, I mean, automating tasks has been a thing that's been happening since automation happened. But the big bugaboo right now is audiobooks. And I saw an author make a point that I thought was really fair. She pointed out that it wasn't her job just to provide an income for narrators because she couldn't afford to. She couldn't afford to pay the hefty amount that it costs to have a book professionally narrated. And trust me, I have some professionally narrated books, and I don't know when I'll make back that investment that I made. So I was like, yes, my business can't necessarily support their business. And one of the things that I've had to do to adjust is adjust prices or do things differently to find new ways to reach readers. And why is it unreasonable to expect narrators to do that? Being flexible and pivoting and adapting is what I've done for 25 years to try to do something that I love to do. And I don't expect the narrator to support me other than just not be nasty. I mean, to me, supporting someone means you don't get in their way. You don't criticize how they run their business. You get to run your business and you get to do the things that you want to do. But for me and my business is writing stories that I hope readers will want to read or listen to. Early on, I decided that I wanted to deliver my stories in the way that readers wanted to receive them. So I started out as an ebook author, but I quickly looked for ways to get my books into print because most people read print then. I remember somebody at an authors group telling me, well, I don't like ebooks. I don't read ebooks, so I'm not putting my books in digital format. And I said, readers don't care how you read. They care how they read. And so I try to run my business to meet the needs of my readers. And some of my readers are sight impaired. And if I can't afford to get my book narrated professionally, am I supposed to just go, oh, sorry, readers, I can't afford it, so you can't have an audiobook that you would like to have? And I'm speaking as a reader here too, because there's a lot of books that I would love to have an audio, because I like to have an audiobook running when I'm doing stuff I don't like to do because it distracts me. And AI audiobooks are getting better. I can see a lot of ways that narrators could use that to their benefit, but that's their business, not mine. My business is to get my books to readers in the format that they want. And I will do that. And what I would like is to be just supported. They don't have to like my decisions, other authors, but this notion that somehow I've made this moral decision to undermine narrators makes me crazy, because it reminds me of the whole ebook thing 25 years ago when it was immoral for me to publish a digital book so that my readers could read it, so I could find readers. I actually had someone tell me that I should have kept it under the bed rather than publish and undermine these other authors. Well, I'm sorry, but telling me how I meet the needs of my readers is undermining me. And I expect to be supported in what I do, not loved, but that's how you support me as a creator. And I hope. Anyway, that's just me. So I hope you have a good day.